Yes, I met Deedee Magno, and she used her pearl voice to talk to me about her cellular device. Hello, potential friends, and welcome back to the Vlogging Nook with me, Alexandra, or should I say, Pearl.
A little box is on the hillside. A little box is made ticky-tacky. A little box is on the hillside. A little box is on.
So I went to FanExpo a couple weeks ago on 2 different days in 2 different costumes. Pearl from Steven Universe and Maka Alburn from Soul Eater. And I am here today in my Pearl costume to run you through this experience. Last year, I went to FanExpo as Jin Urso, and while I loved dressing up as her, I didn't have anyone approach me in excitement for a photo, which I was kind of sad about, because it's nice to have your hard work into a costume go acknowledged by people taking photos. So I wanted to have that experience this year. I was determined to have that experience this year, and I knew that nothing was more popular than group cosplays. So I pitched to a bunch of friends the idea of a Steven Universe group cosplay. 5 of us had the time. One of the costumes is a mild spoiler, so if you haven't seen the new characters from most recent episodes, click away now. We had me as Pearl, Grace as Rose, Ree as Sapphire, Kesser as Stevani, and Emily as White Pearl. We got ready in the morning at Ree's house, and it took us so long that we were kind of late by the time we got there. How long did this take us, guys?
I feel like we've been here a good
Many hours.
2.5 hours.
Many hours.
It's been weeks. There's been no food.
Yeah.
And traveling on the subway with 5 people in costume, 2 of whom are in hoop skirts, was a time. But I do love confounding average people by being weird in public, and FanExpo is the prime time to do that, so I was kind of happy. And then we arrived at the con. Was my plan to get attention through a group cosplay successful? Yes. Yes, it was. Really successful, very successful, so successful in fact, that before we even got in the building, we were stalled outside on the corner for about 5 solid minutes with people just taking photos of us. We couldn't move like 2 steps because people kept asking for photos before we were able to be like, hey, we gotta keep going. People just love Steven Universe, y'all. They loved us.
He wants to make one photo with you.
I've never been in so much demand by people with phone cameras before in my entire life. I was like, is this what One Direction feels like? You can't walk anywhere because 2 steps later someone's like, please, a photo! I guess it's just getting me ready for the day when I become mad famous and people want photos of me all the time. Come on, Vogue. Vogue. Just kidding. I was one of the more amateur ones of the group, as was obvious. But people like Ree are not amateur. So I was really just mooching off of the talent of the crew. Exactly as planned. The best photos, though, were when a kid would come up with their parents, and the kid would want a photo with us because they liked the show. It was so wholesome. It happened like 3 times with like really little kids, and one little boy was like, oh, it's my favorite show, and I was like, I'm so happy we could make this experience better for you. We were far from the only Steven Universe cosplayers, though. We ran into a bunch of them. I was terrible at vlogging because I was too focused on actually being in the character, so I have essentially 0 footage of this. We also failed at getting copies of photos on our own phones, so if you met us and you took photos with us and you're a Steven Universe cosplayer, please email those photos to me. It's funny because before we ran into any like regular Pearl cosplayers like me, we actually ran into, like 20 minutes after we'd arrived, a white diamond and white pearl pair for Emily to pose with. And then 5 minutes later, we hadn't even moved anywhere. We ran into a cowboy ruby for Sapphire. So beautiful to read. In total, I think we met 2 different Rose cosplayers, and there was a pink diamond with one of the roses. We saw 2 amethysts, a peridot in the yellow dress. I actually only saw her from afar. You know, we made eye contact, I waved, it was great, it was so romantic. So we saw an opal and this sardonyx. And then we did run into a couple of pearls later on, one of whom I got photos with. She took a selfie and posted on her Insta, where she also has other photos of the rest of her Steven Universe crew and other cosplayers that we ran into. And here are some other non-Steven Universe cosplays that we saw over the weekend. Now, because we're terrible at planning, we missed every single Steven Universe panel and cosplay meetup, so the rest of our day was mostly just walking around and shopping. We're leaving you behind!
If you're evil and you're on the rise, you can count on the 4 of us taking you down. 'Cause we're good and evil never beats us. We'll win the fight and then go out for pizzas.
The last thing we did on day 1 was, of course, a gratuitous photo shoot. Sapphire with a phone. What? It was funny because throughout the day I kept automatically fixing Grace's skirt, and then while I was doing it I would realize, and I'd be like, there we go, my diamond, and she'd get so uncomfortable. It was great.
Y'all are beautiful.
Then we've got Pearl squaring off with weirdo White Pearl, who assisted White Diamond in stealing my son, so fight me. And Pearl and Stefani being cute, and then doing some meditation together for training. We've also got family photos that are technically a paradox with Rose and Stefani. And of course, squad photos.
We are the crystal gems. We'll always save the day. And if you think we can't, we'll always find a way. That's why the people of this world believe in garnet, amethyst, and Pearl and Steven.
But then, FanExpo 1 was over. Ironically, the most Steven Universe themed thing that happened to me all weekend was on day 2 of FanExpo.
A little box